All right, we're back. We are live. It is January 26th, 2026. Currently Monday. It's 9:28 right now. Market opens in about a minute and a half. And yeah, so getting straight into it. So off rip, we don't have news today, so it is no news Monday. We do have FOMC coming on Wednesday, which is cool. And then Thursday we have unemployment claims, and Friday PPI. With that in mind, I don't expect to trade. I don't expect to trade today. We know it's Mondays. I don't really see much coming in. Maybe Tuesday something might pop up. I don't think Wednesday morning we're gonna get anything good. And then I think we're gonna have something decent on Thursday and Friday probably. With that in mind, so yeah. So market opens in about literally a minute. So right now, what I was looking for was we'll be looking at SMT before New York open. In this case, this SMT is no longer available, but my bias coming into the market is going to be bullish. I am looking for longs, especially with like these fairly like with these fairly equal highs up here. Well, not fairly equal highs. In this case, it was, but I think we might want to be trailing up to take out these highs here on the S&P, essentially, up here. So what I'm going to be looking for us once again is buys. We had an SMT initially, now it's no longer a thing here. So at open, if we're looking for longs, I'm going to want to see us probably. I'm going to be marking out this low and here, press a possible rejection point. But once again, boom. So longs is what I'm looking for, and market just open, and we'll see what happens. So I'm staring at previously highs here on both of these. We're a lot closer to it on the S&P as opposed to Nasdaq, but let's see what happens here. Ugh. So I am going to be favoring S&P for longs right now. We're a lot closer to the liquidity point, which is previously highs, and yeah. With that in mind, once again, I think we're looking to be pretty bullish here. We're really close to the taking out these highs here. So I think I want to be looking for S&P for once again take longs here. And I don't really trade the first 5 minutes. I'm gonna wait for the first 5 minute candle to close at the very least, and then from there hope to see maybe see any form of setup up here. So what I'm gonna be doing this week is well, actually what's pretty major change I want to make. So right now my account right now I only have about a thousand to work with. I'm about 1.5 in drawdown currently. Therefore, I only have about $1,000 to work with and play around with. Um, what I plan on doing is that this week I'm going to go kind of a little more heavy on risk and what do you call it? I'm gonna go a lot heavier on risk with my trades here. Um, and I'm going to what do you call it? I'm going to prioritize trying to get the hard to pass the account as soon as I can. Because what I got in mind is that I'm trying to maybe see if try a different form of account perhaps after this. So I'm going to try to see if I could get as much done with this and this account. So I'm going to go a lot heavier on risk. What I'm going to be aiming for is I'm going to be aiming for about a K per every time I take a trade. I'm going to be aiming for about a K profit on the day because I'm still 1.5 away from that. So whatever it is that I get, I would aim, I'm still aiming to make the profit there, correct? I'm at 50 I'm at about 50K right now, so I need to make 52.5K and I'm not anywhere close to it. So my goal is to make 2.5K within the week. And so I'm going to go a lot heavier on risk. Therefore, I'm also going to go a lot heavier on it's going to be a lot more dangerous for me to take those entries there, but I want to go ahead and do that. And so with that being said, I'll see how it pans out to the week, but I have a different thing in mind for the following week, hopefully. But I just gonna see what happens here. But yeah, I'm gonna go heavy on risk with the goal of making about a K. So, it'll vary between risk to reward ratio here. Regardless, we just take out previous day highs here. on the S&P, and we create an SMT in the higher time frame with Nasdaq here as well. Correct. With that being said, I probably want to see us I will want to see what do you call it? I want to see the Nasdaq continue to push up higher to eventually take out the previous highs as well, or give us early signs of reversal. See what happens from this point onwards. But yeah, since I have a 40% consistency rule on my thing, that means if my goal is 2.5 and I have a 40% consistency rule, that means I cannot make more than 1K on any trading day. And so therefore 1K is my cap ultimately. And honestly, what I'm trying to do is just pass this account as soon as I can. So I'm gonna go really heavy on risk this week. It might blow the account, it might not, but I think I've been definitely studying up on my strategy a lot more than it was previously and earlier on. And so that's what I'm gonna be aiming for just to do here. In this case, once again, the SMT is done, so I'm gonna be prioritizing the Nasdaq here for longs. See what happens. At least until we take our previous highs here. Once again, um, yeah, hopefully I can take a trade. It is no news Monday today, but we do seem to have some sort of movement going on here, so hopefully I can see some sort of entry come in here. But we shall see. Also, I am considering, at least not maybe not this week, but maybe coming next week, I'm considering probably paying for the premium account on TradingView, because I've been playing around with a 30-second time frame for entries, and honestly, it's pretty convenient and it makes sense to me. So honestly, I might be leaning towards buying one of those. The only thing that I don't like about it is its price. It's like what, 65 bucks a month, I think, which is kind of crazy if I'm honest. But I mean, if it's convenient, if it works, I'll go ahead and do that. Not for scalp purposes, but rather just like sometimes a 30-second does give me great opportunities. Maybe when the 1 minute any other time frame doesn't. So yeah. Also, I don't have a lot of energy coming up right now, but um, I got, so we should be fine. Ugh. What I'm waiting for here is I'm gonna wait for us to form this 5 minute gap here. Hopefully we trace back into it, and from there we trail up towards these highs up here. We did just take out this hourly high here on Nasdaq, but yeah. So my buy once again remains bullish until otherwise proven. I just have this on the side in case for whatever reason we're trying to reverse back down. But with the SMT in place, I want to see um, Nasdaq take long. Ow. What I'm trying to learn to do a lot more, and I think I've been trying to learn that for a while now, is distinguishing um conviction with just kind of like fear. Where it's like, at what point is it that maybe there's not enough showing me I want to do something, and therefore I should probably be discretionary about it and not maybe take a trade or do take a trade, and versus like, hey, I don't want to lose money, so I'm going to like be careful here, if that makes sense, you know. 9:30 opens here. What am I doing? um yeah, I want to be able to like take entries and be like, yeah, this is my model, I trust it, I want to do this, this is what looks good, as opposed, but also to be able to differentiate that from, I don't know, this looks a little funky, this is a little funny, I don't know if I should trust it, XYZ. But I'm trying to just like kind of commit to the model when I see my model. it's kind of hard to like identify 100% A plus setups. Um, right now I feel like, I mean, we have an SMT in play, right? But it does look like we're trailing up higher, correct? With that in mind, we have this high up here, which we also took out here on Nasdaq. This whole gap that we had in the previous week, I filled in entirely. I want to see what I'm looking for is just for the, I guess in this case, the lagger to kind of catch up to take out liquidity as well. That's what I'm assuming. And if anything, then I would want to see us maybe show rejection if that's not the case. Dun, 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 dun. So we are about to form this 5 minute gap right here, right? This 5 minute FEG is something I am hoping maybe we want to retrace back into. Hopefully we trace back into it, and from there we can look to take some from a long towards the highs, how that pans out. 15 minute, there's nothing here, nothing of relevance, at least. Do, 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 do. 5 minute forms, and hopefully we retrace back down into the zone, see what happens here. I've been backtesting quite a lot lately. I think I've definitely been doing a lot better in regards to establishing a new like I guess improving my model. Um I think I've definitely increased my win rate on backtesting at least. I just kind of matter of It's just a matter of like, what do you call it? It's a matter of also applying it back into the charts as well. But we'll see how that pans out. So we haven't tapped into the gap just yet. I want to see us trace into it and from there reject off of it. Dun, 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 dun. Mhm. Here we're expanding upward, go to trace into the gap. Hopefully we eventually do trace into the gap, but if we don't, it's cool. Either way, we're gonna have an SMT, I'm pretty sure, because we would have an SMT with a 4 hour high up here. On actually no, we'd be on the same page here, I guess. I guess in theory we would. I'm just kind of really hoping that we trace back down before we expand up, because I could take an entry and then from there we just see where we go. Basically, with that in mind, I mean, we do have these hourly highs up here if these are any interest to us at all, but whether it is or isn't is, I don't know. Nonetheless, though, it does look like we might. It does look like we are, trying to maybe hope. I'm just hoping we fill in the gap here, and I just want to see what. So this week doesn't look bad. The first week of February actually looks really good now that I think about it. We have PMI on Monday, Jones job openings Tuesday, PMI on Wednesday, unemployment claims on Thursday, um, prelim on Friday. The following week we have CPI, which is pretty cool as well. So, I don't know. I think the first couple weeks of, well, at least the first week of February is I think going to be good. Um, yeah, I mean, hopefully this goes well. This 5 minute candle is about to close. Please retrace first, please. I mean, we could just expand. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it did, but me personally, I would prefer if it went down first. And then up. Ugh. Also, the first 15 minute candle just closed as well, so it's also possible maybe we just stall here before tapping here. Tap is the 15 minute, and then from there expand. Whether or not it's gonna happen, we'll see. Right now, this seems to be like a little bit slow, unsurprisingly, but What I'm hoping we do here is perhaps form a new 5 minute gap here, which then we can retrace into, and then from there take longs to the previous day high that we left behind, and that would be pretty cool. So I'm gonna mark out this small little 5 minute gap here. Hopefully we retrace into a level soon enough. So we have all 5 minutes till done here. Unless we just kind of push right through it and then want to see us trail down to the 5 minute down here. So we form a very small 5 minute gap down here. Hopefully we still want to push down into the zone and from there reject even if slightly, but 5 minute gap forms. Unless we could once again still also be stalling here. Maybe we create this 15-minute gap, trace to the 15-minute gap, and from there expand to the previous day highs. Right now, what I want to see though still would be us manipulate to this 5 minute gap here and from there expand towards it. And hopefully we do. Hoping we want to trail back down. Tap into the FEG. That'd be ideal. Or tapping into the 5 minute high. Because we do have NASDAQ retrace down into the gap here. Where, I mean, we have the S&P trace the gap here where NASDAQ doesn't. And I would like to see us race down and then tap into the 5 minute gap here. Or unless, of course, we just stall a little bit longer, retrace a little bit lower into the 15-minute gap, and then from there push back up, which is also possible. 5 minute closes again. Still have not tapped into it. What I think what I want to see us do is come down, take out liquidity, tap into the FEG, and then expand. Hopefully we do that. But it does seem like maybe we are trying to form this 15-minute gap before we push upwards, but I don't know. I do not know. I do not know. Da, 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 da. Huh. Okay, there it is. So previously highs get taken out. Therefore, there's no longer an SMT in play on on here. It's cool. Yeah. Okay, so this SMT is no longer in play right here. Yes. Still, the higher time frame is bullish. Correct. So SMT is no longer in play. At this point, I'm going to just observe, see what the market kind of wants to do. I'm going to mark out these 4-hour highs in case we do want to trace up here. Do I think we do? I honestly don't, but for whatever reason we do want to, this is going to be, I guess, the point I want to see us aim for, I guess, here. Oh. Okay, so once again, there's no SMT in play here. 958. Um, I think um I think I want to purchase the S&P for longs probably, since we did have the initial SMT here with that level. Right now, we don't really have anything that I can see us actively looking at. We do have this high up here, right? Which is a 4-hour high, correct? If I'm not mistaken. 4-hour high here, which technically I'm pretty sure would be this high up here. Essentially the same high here. Yes, so this 4-hour high would be essentially the same 4-hour high here. Still, right now, I do believe I want to see us probably prioritize the S&P for longs. I think still. See what we do. What we do also have though is this 1 hour high here. If for whatever reason we want to take that out. Mm-mm-mm. So I think whatever I want to see right now was probably want to see us trace down into this 15-minute gap and just kind of see what we want to do. Okay, so we traced the 15-minute gap right here, correct? 15-minute gap gets traced down into. Um, I want to see where we head towards at this point right here. Mm, really fairly equal highs here with this 1 hour with this 1 hour high here. We retraced this 15-minute gap here on Nasdaq, and initially we had an SMT, correct? So that means that the S&P took out daily highs before, I mean, yeah, daily highs before Nasdaq did, right? Nasdaq caught up, and now they're on equal footing here, correct? Still, they never took out the leadership away from the S&P. So if I were aiming once again to take longs, I would probably be favoring the S&P for such things, I would say. With that in mind, I'm looking for a possible resweep here occur. Maybe, type, sort of. So what I'm looking for us to do is probably see NQ probably take out this 4 hour high, maybe. We retraced this 15-minute gap here on the S&P, what we do on a NASDAQ. Still the one that was initially leading the move, I would argue would be the S&P. So I would want to say that's leader, correct? But it looks like we have maybe more a little more impulse on NASDAQ right now. We do have this 5-minute high here, correct? Right. This is the leg that happens into the zone. I kind of want to see us resweep down here, I would say. What I'm thinking here is that maybe we should prioritize NASDAQ potentially. But right now, if anything, I want to see it. So I'm looking at. So what I'm looking at right now is I'm looking at the S&P take out the previous high and the previous low we had down here. Correct. In the case of of Nasdaq, we don't even reach trace into any form of gap of any sort, really. Uh, so here I'm looking to see like what are we really trying to do. As a matter of fact, I think I might be leaning a little more bullish on Nasdaq. Why do I say that? Because we have this 4 hour high sitting right up here, correct? Which we seem to maybe be wanting pushing towards. We retrace a lot. We haven't retraced the 15-minute gap here on Nasdaq while the S&P does, correct? With that in mind, the bias once again still remains bullish, and we haven't changed that just yet. Um, so I might be looking for potential longs here towards the 4 hour high on Nasdaq. Maybe, maybe. So this can technically still be valid too here as well. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I think I want to see Nasdaq. So they're once again we're holding bullish on both still. I think I want to see Nasdaq retrace to the 15-minute gap, tap into maybe very lightly, lower retracement, and now from there I want to see expand to the 4-hour high. I think that's what I want to do. I think initially the S&P was leading the move with the SMT that we formed earlier on, but what I'm looking for right now is for us to retrace into this. I think the S&P wants to retrace into this a little bit deeper than we do on Nasdaq. I just want to see Nasdaq actually do the retrace. That's all I'm waiting for right now. How crazy it would be maybe here, here, here. That's not even a good entry. So this early high we had up here gets taken alongside the 5 minute here gets taken as well. No surprise there. Still, I'm looking for one of these to do something. Right now, I see nothing, honestly. No proper retracement on Nasdaq. We do retrace here on the S&P, but we don't really show any proper much of anything for that matter. I think I want to see longs on Nasdaq most likely. I think. I don't think I'm gonna get anything if I'm being totally honest. We don't get any retrace with the 15 minute. We just kind of left it there. If anything, I want to see if we're probably going to expand a little bit more, take it out, and then probably retrace back down. But in the meantime, yep. Ugh. So right now, I think Nasdaq is leading the move high. If we take out this 4 hour high on Nasdaq, then we form an SMT on the what do you call it, on the S&P, in which case I would probably prioritize longs there or reverses either way. Well, I want to see what happens here. So ideally, I would want to see this 5 minute gap form here before we tap into this 4 hour high, retrace, and then tap into 4 hour high. But if we tap the 4 hour high first, then that will confirm the S&P that we have between the 4 hour high there and there. Mm, 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 mhm, mhm. Okay, so what I'm going to be looking for here is probably once again take longs on the deck. Hopefully see us retrace this 5 minute gap we form and expand away from that. But you know, ah. Cool, there we go. We do reach the 5 minute gap. And so I want to see what we do here. I guess wait. Retracement. Hopefully, maybe we tap back into this little 1 minute zone. Maybe retrace back down, resweep, maybe even for an SMT, and then from there, make it possible buy. Okay, this FEG held here. So again, I'm pretty sure we want to see us up. It, we could maybe inverse this, and we do. That's, I guess, it's fine. But I would be looking for us to ideally shoot towards power up here. I'm in a gap is holding here. I do think the Nasdaq is the one that I want to take longs on, ideally towards a 4-hour high, which we're pretty much right there. Um, Fairly equal highs are essentially being formed here. Um, yeah, what we got going on here is we have technically a low here, which gets swept here. Technically a low here also gets swept. I think I would want to see us take a possible entry here if we break above this swing high up here. If we break above that swing high, I would probably be looking to take longs here, here, targeting up here. What I'm thinking. Whoa. We're going with 15 contracts here. I did say I was gonna go heavy on this. Once again, why am I locked in on this as my possible entries? Because we have a 5 minute gap here, which we respect, correct? We have this swing low come all the way down here, correct? We create a swing high here. We have a change of character occurred here, and I want to just retrace to the zone before trailing back up to the 5 minute up here. We might just expand. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we just expanded, but I would be pretty confident. I think I'm fairly confident in this entry here. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It'll be what it'll be. Um, yeah. Hopefully this pan out. If it doesn't pan out, it is what it is. But this is essentially my model here. So again, we're looking for longs. 4 hour sits up here. We create fairly equal highs. I'm not even aiming for the 4 hour, but this 5 minute here is holding, correct? And then we have a proper 1 minute change here. I want to see us trace back into the zone. And then from there, I want to see us chill upwards. Is it going to pan out? Hopefully it does. But I don't know. At this point, it's just a matter of just waiting. I just got to wait now. There goes my entry. If we're bullish, we should begin to expand upwards. If we're not, we're going to displace below the 5-minute inverse. But in this situation here, this 5-minute is still holding. My entry is my entry, and I just want to see this expand. So, um, I don't think I have any issues with this. The only thing that maybe might mess me up is which one wants to do the move, whether it would be Nasdaq or the S&P in any one of these situations here. But I think Nasdaq with the 4-hour high sitting right above us, pretty much, is the one that wants to move, have the move. We don't retrace into this 15-minute gap at all, right? So we have more intent to push higher than we do on the S&P. And with that in place, 5-minute gap is holding on once again, and I just want to see us just extend upwards. So we do get this retracement to the zone, and we have a swing up here. So what I'm gonna want to wait for as well is a break of structure above this swing here, at which point I could probably bring my stop loss a little bit higher. You know, higher highs, higher lows. Honestly, my goal isn't even up here. My goal is just a 5-minute. After that, we could always just, choose to go lower for whatever reason. Boom. So at this point, I'm gonna bring my stop loss up here to this swing low. A little bit of a better RR, not fully there, but just a better RR as a whole. And from there, we just want to see us do what we gotta do. If we inverse this very small 5-minute gap, that's even better confirmation of us trying to expand higher. But we'll see. Either way, this is a pretty decent RR trade at this point. Even if we do break below at this point here, correct? Even something like this is a decent RR trade. 5.95 RR. Hey, listen, I think it's pretty good. If I do this to myself, I'm gonna retrace this little gap and hopefully from there expand upwards once again. My risk at this point is a lot less than it was before, so. One thing I might be a little iffy about is that if we for whatever reason choose to break below this uh body close of this low body close, might look a little funny, honestly. Still, smart thing to do is put it below proper swing lows. We should, if our idea is right, we should not be going any lower than this zone right here. I want. Honestly, I just think we're gonna use this 1 minute FEG to expand us upwards. I mean, it should at the very least. 5 minute here is holding. Technically, this 5 minute here is technically also holding, but my bias is bullish nonetheless. So just wanna Either way, I'm happy with the trade. I think I did pretty solid risk management here. Um, I believe Nasdaq is leading here. I'm looking for longs. Even if I get stopped out, I think we still have a decent RR here. Now I'm not losing too much. I'm not risking too much here. Um, yeah, we'll see what happens here. That's one thing. We inverse. Hopefully, we don't tap into our low. If we do, I'm okay with it. Hey, we good? We can't win them all. That's cool. How much was that? That was only a $200 loss. I'm okay with that. I'm 100% okay with that. I have no problem, no issue with that. I follow my motto, and I think I did proper risk management here because likelihood is if we breaking below this low right here, likelihood is we're also going to break below this low. In which, yeah, you see, perfect. Had I not brought that up there, I would have lost a lot more. I would have lost $500, and I'm okay with that. Um, I'm trying to figure out if maybe I could have done something better. Um, Honestly, I don't think so. I think I did pretty well here. Um, I don't think I missed out on anything particularly. I think maybe if anything, maybe I should study a little bit more in regards to maybe which one would have probably been the better option. I feel like MNQ probably would have been the better option as a whole. I don't think I missed out on that particularly. I think I did pretty good on that. Um, I think Nasdaq was the way to go for entries, especially for buys. We tap into this 5 minute gap. We held that gap, correct? At this point, we have a proper change of character in the smaller time frame, in the 1 minute time frame. I take entries here, expanding upwards. We create a swing low, and then we break above a swing high. We have a break structure, which at which point I bring my stop loss a little bit higher to the swing low, and then I get stopped out, which is pretty cool. One thing I do notice is that we did not have that same uh, change of character on the S&P. So that's maybe one thing to consider. But honestly, I'm happy with the trade. I think I did pretty good on that. Um, yeah, sometimes we get stopped out, and I think I had pretty good risk management here. I followed my model to the T. I think it's once again a matter of not being afraid to take my model, to take my entry. Once again, I still do a little more practice at all times, but I do think I did pretty good. I think once again I stuck to the strategy. Um, yeah, uh, I'll call that a good loss. I'll call that a good loss. So with that being said, hopefully tomorrow is better. And yeah, this is